All right. Well, good morning and good afternoon. My name is Milan Doshi. Welcome to TryThisAt.Work. I am one of the new leads at TryThisAt.Work, here with my friend and colleague Kelly and Scott. A few housekeeping items before we get started. This is a Microsoft Live event. We will not be capturing your data. In the case that you authenticated via Office 365, we may have your email address, but we will not be distributing your data. All right, we're going to get started with my smart friend Kelly, and she's going to demo one of the most hottest features we've been getting asked. I get a few questions, folks. I get, hey, when is this pandemic going to end? Which I have no answer to. But the other question I get is, when can we get a demo of Breakout Rooms? So Kelly is going to grant that wish, and we're excited to be sharing that here in a few minutes. Feel free to submit your questions throughout the presentation. We're going to do our best to get to them at the very end because we do have some good content to share. Also worth mentioning, once we're finished, we have these sessions at the TryThisAt.Work site. We have them all on demand, so feel free to peruse through our sessions in the past. All right, Kelly, help make us smarter, my friend. Over to you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Millen. And hello again, everyone. Kelly Cleland. I am a customer success manager with Microsoft and a TryThisAt.Work leader, and really excited to be talking about breakout rooms today. Just a couple of notes really before we get started and I get into the content. Number one, I only have a couple slides, but the couple slides are pretty content heavy, so I want to focus on them just for a little bit, just to make sure that features and roles, that it's very clear in terms of what you can and cannot do. And then, of course, the highly anticipated demonstration that's actually going to show you the how-to on breakout rooms. So once that actually hits your tenant, you'll be up and running and have more knowledge than some of your other folks that did not attend this live event. So again, as Millen mentioned, it is on demand for any that may have missed it. So please feel free to push them to the TryThisAt.Work within, should be posted by early next week. So just keep that in your back pocket in case you need to revisit. All right, so to get started with breakout features, the first thing that I want to talk about is meeting roles. So this is really important that you understand what you can and cannot do based off of how you are assigned in the meeting. So the organizer, right, which is the person that typically schedules a meeting, your organizer truly is, you could say, the master organizer in terms of having access to the breakout room feature. Excuse me. So you'll notice in the right-hand corner here, I just took a little snippet of my toolbar, and the breakout room icon it's a little square within a square where it's highlighted in yellow. So just know if you are not a meeting organizer, you are not going to see that breakout room feature. So it's just the organizer of the meeting that's going to see that and be able to create the breakout room. So something that you need to keep in mind as you are planning. So from an organizer perspective, before you even really get into the breakout rooms and tell you, and you can read on your screen, we'll walk through these. But really you want to think about from a breakout room perspective, because there are a couple of different ways that you can set up these breakout rooms. So you really want to think about your end user and what's appropriate, what type of setup is appropriate for your participants of the meeting and the breakout activities. So something to keep in mind is that you want to think, okay, from a example from a D&I perspective. So do we want to automatically create breakout rooms? And, do I want to manually select participants and put them into rooms? Or do I want to have, very diverse participation in the breakout rooms, and we want to pair people that typically wouldn't be paired? We will actually let teams determine who gets dropped into the breakout rooms. Something to keep in mind as you're thinking about the setup of breakout rooms. But from that perspective, let's talk a little bit about the features that an organizer has access to. And again, I'm going to show you all of these things, so you don't need to memorize any of this. For the most part, the demo that we're going to be doing, automatic is pretty self-explanatory. And again, highly encourage you selecting that option. If you do want to randomly place people into your breakout rooms, you determine how many you need, you randomly place them. And it makes it, of course, it's like hitting the easy button. But again, the demo that we want to show you, because there's not much to show you from that perspective when it's automatic. The demo that we're going to show you today is all around the manual assignment, because there's much more to show you in that case. So again, as an organizer, you're the only one that can determine what type of breakout rooms you're creating, how you're setting those up, and how you are flowing in between the breakout rooms and managing the event. So as an organizer, as of right now, the breakout rooms can only be set up on the Teams desktop client. So you have to make sure that you're actually leveraging the desktop application. From this perspective of setup, so you have to actually be active in the meeting. So, right, you could log in to the meeting early before your participants join if you want to start to set up the breakout rooms and set the automatic assignment. But basically, you're not setting up anything in advance quite yet. Just know that, right, the product group is continuously developing all of these features. You all know that we have so many features that are rolling out by the end of the year. We continuously keep adding more, and they keep taking the features that we currently have and keep making them better. So just know that as we're talking through these features, something could change in an instant, and they could push out an update, just within the next couple of weeks after pushing this out. So this is just the snapshot of what you can do as an organizer and a participant today. So you will have control over breakout rooms. So during the actual demonstration, since we are going to show you manually how to do this, we're going to show you how you can add, delete, how you can rename breakout rooms. So for example, if you wanted to create breakout rooms for all of the participants for, say maybe you have 3 breakout sessions throughout the day, but you want to place different people in different breakout rooms to create even more diverse and interactive experience across all of the participants. You can absolutely do that and modify who's in those breakout rooms for each one of those breakout sessions, which is really great. So we're going to show you how to do that. As of right now, you can create up to 50 breakout rooms per meeting. So hopefully that's enough for your organization at this point in time. What I also love that we're going to show you today is the announcement feature. So only the organizer, again, organizer has the ability to essentially push an announcement, which is a chat message really, but that announcement is going to show up as an important notification in the chat window of each one of the breakout rooms. So it's really nice as you're doing timekeeping to stay organized, keep your breakout rooms on task without you having to go in and out of them. So really great way to send an easy notification that will show you. Your organizer also, each one of your breakout rooms, right, the way that this works is you have, of course, one primary meeting, and that's your main meeting. So if we're talking about this in the context of, say, an HR training, and then you have breakout activities, maybe to help, maybe it's onboarding, so it's new people, and to have people create those rich connections. Just know that inside of each one of these meetings, it's a Teams meeting. So you have all of the capabilities and the features of a regular Teams meeting. So all of, you can do polling, you can chat, you can share files, you can whiteboard, you can record each one of the individual breakout rooms. But the organizer is the only one that's going to have access to all of those room meeting artifacts. So as the organizer afterwards, if there's a requirement, say, to, pull all of the files and pull all of the recordings post-meeting all up, I can actually go back into those. I can pull each one of the breakout room files and recordings down as the organizer and share those as need be. The organizer is also the only one that can hop between rooms freely. So that's something to keep in mind during planning. We're going to share some best practices on planning ahead, but that's something that's really important to note. So you're really going to want to think about, when you're thinking about breakout room facilitation, you really need to think about a role that's not on here, which again, breakout room facilitator. So really you should have organizer, breakout room facilitator who's also a participant, and then of course your participants, your actual participants of the meeting that are engaging during these breakout sessions. Also from an organizer perspective, I mentioned that you have a couple of different ways essentially that you can create these breakout rooms and how people are getting moved. So I'm going to show you the manual way of creating rooms and moving people into breakout rooms, but you do have the option to click automatic as well. So from the standpoint of a participant, you can join from web, desktop, your mobile devices, doesn't matter. Again, all of the same meeting features that everyone is used to today. There's nothing limited in that sense. So what you have inside of a regular meeting is what you're going to have inside of a breakout room. So use all of those interactive features and apps and capabilities and really make your breakout sessions, really help to create a rich experience for those participants. And again, as it pertains to the actual artifacts, if I'm the organizer of the overall training, I'm the only one that's going to have access to the links. But inside of the actual breakout sessions, every time those participants get placed back into the breakout room, right, they're going to have access to their artifacts as they're working through them in those breakout rooms, but they won't have access to other people's artifacts. So something, again, to keep in mind as you're planning. So without further ado, I know you all don't want to hear me talk the entire time, so I definitely want to go ahead and show you a demonstration of exactly what this looks like. So again, what we did, we recorded this earlier in the week, again, so we could piece it together so you could see the main session and then a breakout room and how we pull people in and out. So just to let you know, again, because automatically creating the rooms and placing people in, there's not much to show there. So again, this is from a manual perspective of managing those breakout rooms and leveraging some of the features. We tried to touch on as much as we possibly could, but again, we're happy to answer questions as we go here. As Millen said, please post those into the window. We may not have all of your answers today because again, we're still waiting. This is in preview mode with some customers already. But again, it's fully rolling into GA as of end of month and beginning into next month. Okay, so without further ado, to get started with breakout rooms, once you have everybody in your meeting, what you're going to want to do as the organizer is go up into your toolbar and you're going to see the breakout rooms icon. It's a square within a square as you're seeing on your screen here. When you click the breakout rooms icon, you're going to get a modal pop-up. This modal pop-up is going to allow you to select a couple of options. The first option being for room settings, how many rooms do you need? So based off of the size of your main meeting and how many participants you have, you can determine how many rooms you may need for those users to be dropped into those breakout rooms. As you know, as mentioned before, you can actually set up to 50 breakout rooms. In this case, since I only have 4 participants on the meeting, I'm just going to go ahead and say that I need 2 meeting rooms. You have 2 options in terms of how you want to assign the participants to the breakout rooms. The first option is to automatically assign. And notice that the meeting automatically knows that aside from myself as the organizer who's controlling the breakout rooms, that it will automatically assign these 4 attendees in this department training into the 2 rooms that I have selected. As there won't be much to show you from a how-to perspective, I'm actually going to select the manual option. And again, automatically is a great option for you, as mentioned previously, if you want to make sure that you really have a focus from a diversity inclusion perspective, sharing differing opinions amongst your breakout room members, a really great option for you to select automatically. In this case, just for demo purposes, I'm going to select manually and show you how to do this. So I've selected manually and I'm going to click Create Rooms. As you can see, the 2 rooms are automatically being created on the screen. It doesn't take much time, which is really great. And now you can see here in my right-hand breakout room pane, you can see where I've got all of my participants that I am able to assign to my breakout rooms. But the first thing that I want to do, because honestly, I think room 1 and room 2 are just a little bit too generic, the first thing that I want to do is rename these breakout rooms. So in this case, in my prior communication for this department training, I've actually stated that we'll have breakout rooms and we've identified them in groups of, alphabetical naming on group A through group A and group B. So from the little ellipse, as you can see here, the three little dots, I'm going to click Rename Room, and I'm going to rename Room 1 to Group A. And again, you can rename these rooms, whatever works for you and your meeting. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with Room 2. Again, no one is in a breakout room right now. I am simply renaming. And this is Group B. And I'm simply clicking Rename Room. Now I am ready to assign my participants to these breakout rooms. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select, 2 individuals to go ahead and assign to Group A. And you can see here when I click those individuals and then I click Assign, I am provided with the 2 breakout room options, Group A and Group B. I'm going to go ahead and assign these 2 participants to Group A. Now I'm going to go ahead and assign the remaining 2 participants into Group B. Just because I've assigned the participants into these 2 breakout rooms does not actually mean that they're in the breakout room. As you can see here, next to these breakout rooms, there's actually a status indicator that is saying closed. That means that these breakout rooms have not started and they are closed, meaning that no one can get to them. So we want to go ahead and actually start these rooms, and we're going to do that now. So I'm going to remain in this main meeting room, and my breakout participants are going to go into their respective breakout rooms. So I'll see you soon, everyone. And you'll see on screen here, these rooms have now been opened, and the individuals are moving into their respective breakout rooms. And it's as easy as that. So what's fantastic is that we have Ryan who just joined us here. What happens when a participant joins late? So Ryan, naughty you for being late, but fantastic for demo purposes. This was all planned, by the way, folks.
Of course. I'm never late.
All right, you're never late. With that, I'm going to go ahead on my screen and I'm going to select Ryan, and I am automatically going to select him and assign him into Group A. So Ryan, I'm going to go ahead and drop you in, and I'll see you soon.
Nice. Thank you.
All right, and you will see here, again, these rooms are still open as the status reflects green and open. And with that, what I wanted to show you before Ryan popped in is that I wanted to show you how I can actually send an announcement to the organizer to all open rooms. So with that, I'm going to come up here and go to more options, and you're going to see an option for make an announcement. Again, in your breakout rooms window, I'm going to go ahead and select more options. I'm going to come up here to breakout rooms, and I'm going to go ahead and click the ellipse, and I'm going to click make announcement. With that announcement, again, this is an announcement that pushes to all breakout rooms. I'm just going to let them know that time is up. Time is up in, I'll just say 2 minutes. I'm giving them a 2-minute warning with emphasis. Okay, so before I actually pull them back in, you can see here we've set your announcement to all rooms, which is great. So they've all received that important notification within their chat window. What I'm going to do is I'm going to join one of the breakout rooms. So with that, I'm just going to go ahead. I guess I'm just going to join Group A and check in and see how they're doing. So I'm going to click on the little ellipse, which is more options, and I'm going to select Join Room.
Oh, there she is.
Hello, everyone. How's everything going in this breakout room?
Very good. We're discussing televisions.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. That's exciting.
That's fantastic.
Someone send me a new TV.
It's Christmas shopping.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Well, I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing for training purposes. Did you all receive the notification?
Yeah,
the important notification?
Yeah, it showed me.
Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull you guys back in now and wrap up.
Excellent.
Okay, everyone, so you can see that I'm now back in the main room. We still have the breakout rooms going on, which is fantastic. But as we're getting close on time, of course, you always have to be able to pull your breakout groups back into the main area. So we are here almost at that time. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So basically, things I want to mention actually before we even get there. So just know if that these groups, again, you can move individuals around. For example, if you wanted to switch up the groups at the next breakout room section, depending on how long your training is, you can certainly do so within the same meeting. You can also add rooms on the fly. So if I wanted to add a room, right, it gave me the option at the beginning, but I also have the option. So maybe we had some unexpected participants, and maybe you just want maybe even all the late stragglers to join a specific room. So I am easily able to create another room here. I can rename it again. So this would be Group C. Right, so you can see here now it's closed. I haven't actually opened it right now because there's nobody that's actually been assigned to that, but you get where I'm going. You follow the same process for signing, and you go ahead and you actually start those rooms. For the sake of closing out this demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and close the rooms and pull everyone back in. So with that, I just simply come up to Manage Rooms and my breakout room panel here and click Close Rooms, and we'll see what happens. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I hope you had very productive breakout sessions.
Of course.
Yeah.
Great. So I loved seeing all the interaction inside of the chat and in each of the breakout rooms. Appreciate you all taking the time today so we could demo breakout rooms to our very loved customers. So with that, everyone, that is the full walkthrough of breakout rooms, and we're happy to answer any questions that you have now. Thanks, team. Appreciate you jumping on.
Thank you.
All right, so I hope that gave everyone a great preview. And what I didn't show at the end there, just from a recording perspective, because the way that you're pulling down the files is the same way that you would in a regular meeting. So again, just think of breakout rooms as separate meetings. So if I had told, hey, my breakout meeting facilitators, hey, I want to make sure that you're recording when we're in there, make sure that the files are saved or whatever. I, as the organizer, again, can actually have access to every single one of those breakout rooms. I am able to go pull down all those assets just as I would if we just had a regular meeting, regular Teams meeting. So nothing really new to show you there from pulling down a recording. So again, it follows the same process, at least for now, for today. All right, so I know I want to make sure that we've got time to get to Q&A. I know there's some really great questions that are coming in, but just really quick, I wanted to speak to a couple best practices that may actually answer some of your questions. So again, breakout rooms, fantastic, they work. Still a work in progress. We're going to continue to make them even better. Again, I got to the majority of the features, but I didn't quite get to everything in the demo because we have a very short amount of time. But just some best practices to think about as you're creating these and setting these up. You want to make sure that you're planning ahead, right? So you need to determine really based off of what are you trying to accomplish in these breakout rooms, and how do you want them set up? Do you want to hit the easy button and do an automatic assignment? I want to create the number of rooms and just auto assign people. Based off of, the number of individuals, right? We all know how many people we invite to a meeting, so it's pretty easy math. And you can determine how many breakout rooms you want, or do you want to actually do a manual assignment, kind of depending on the activity, to make sure, maybe you need a certain type of team structure and you want to manually assign folks. So again, completely up to you, but determine that in advance. It'll make it a lot easier for you. Again, just a reminder that the main meeting organizer has all the control. So there's no one else that can flow in between the other breakout rooms. It's just the meeting organizer that can do that. They're the only ones that can create and flow in between the rooms. So something that you're going to want to keep in mind is, again, I mentioned there's another role that's sort of missing there, and it's sort of an elevated participant, but really when you're organizing and when you're planning, so I've got it there as bullet number 4, you want to name some breakout facilitators, and you want to make sure that you have, that you are telling those facilitators what the expectations are for those breakout activities, So for example, if you're requiring recording for the event, you want to make sure the facilitators are well informed of exactly what they need to do, the timing around things, make sure they're keeping time. Of course, the meeting organizer can pull folks back in, but I think it's really great when you plan really well and everyone's on the same page. Again, so thinking about also the names of your room, if you set that up in advance, people will know, they're not going to be like, hey, am I in the right room? If you have thought about that in advance. So just something to keep in mind. And then from a participant expectations standpoint, right, participants also need to know like what's expected of them during these breakout sessions. The best breakout sessions occur, even internally at Microsoft, the best breakout sessions occur when all of the breakout participants know what's expected of them during that breakout session, right? So understanding what is it that we're accomplishing in the breakout session, what is the deliverable? Are we going to be presenting back in the main meeting, once we have our breakout sessions, and do we need to assign someone from the breakout group to essentially be our presenter when we regroup? These are details that you're going to want to work through, and it's going to make for a much more streamlined and much more productive overall meeting and breakout sessions. I already highlighted this again from a meetings feature standpoint. There's nothing different. You have all the rich, robust meeting features that you have with any regular Teams meeting. Use them to your advantage. Make it interactive. Really get the most out of these breakout sessions and getting people engaged. In addition to that, again, just a friendly reminder from an organizer perspective, I'm very type A. I like to stay aligned to a schedule. I like to send reminders. So leverage those announcements, make sure you're staying on schedule, pop in and out of the breakout rooms if you need to as an organizer. But I would say if you have a very well-planned event, you really shouldn't need to do that, because that's what your breakout room facilitators are for. And then just remember, right, as we showed you, these features are flexible to a certain extent. So if you're wanting to switch up the breakout rooms and who's in what breakout room for maybe breakout session number 2, you can absolutely do that. So there's flexibility here as well. So just know that we're really excited for you all to try breakout rooms. It's been one of the most requested features for some time now, and we are just really excited for the feature to hit all of you here within the coming weeks. So with that, I know we just have a few minutes left, so I did want to open it up for some questions.
So I'll tell you right now, Kelly, we do not have a shy crew in our midst. There have been a ton of questions asked, and so we're sorry if we don't get to your questions with the few minutes remaining, but I'll ask some of the more popular ones, Kelly, if that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one of them is, and you did a good job here, can you have multiple organizers in a breakout room, more than one person able to initiate those rooms?
Yeah, and that's a great question. So as of right now, it is just only the organizer can initiate and move in between the breakout rooms. That's why I said that third role is really needed. So really the organizer needs to determine in advance who those breakout room facilitators are going to be, because it's going to be easier for you as the organizer. And you're not going to be able to join all your breakout sessions at once, right? So you as the organizer are the only one that have that control. So please, 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 if I have a recommendation for you for a successful event, make sure that you have participants that have been identified that are going to each be in a breakout room and essentially be an extension of you as the facilitator.
Very good. Thank you, Kelly. If the meeting organizer leaves the meeting, or maybe gets booted out, internet issues, during a breakout room session, what happens? Do the other rooms get affected, or do they keep going?
Nope. The other rooms keep going. And really, even when I, as the organizer, so meetings always still go, right? Even in this live event, right? Millen, you and I are producers. Even if we left this live event right now, it would still be going. It doesn't end the meeting. It's still going. It doesn't end until you end it. But what will happen as a meeting organizer, this is a really great question. What will happen is, for me as the organizer of the overall event, if I leave and go into a breakout room, what it does is it puts my main room on hold. So again, if somebody's in that main room, right, I'm not actually there. So if we have late stragglers coming in and I'm over in a breakout room, it's going to appear like the meeting's on hold. So that's why I said I think that, you know, from tying back to that first question, make sure you have breakout meeting facilitators. Really, the organizer there is really to facilitate the flow of the event. And in my mind, if I was the one that was creating, say, for example, a large HR training, I would actually have, you know, a presenter or presenters that are primary for facilitating the training in the main event. And I'm just the organizer facilitating the flow and the setup of the breakout rooms, and making sure that, you know, from a planning perspective on the back end, making sure that I've got breakout room facilitators that are assigned in each room, that's all planned in advance. So for me, this is all about planning, folks, and it's going to make for really successful events for you.
Absolutely, and we did get a lot of questions, Kelly. So unfortunately, folks, we are at time. I think these are great questions. We hope to get them answered later. And again, we would recommend once this hits your tenant to go ahead and, you know, start getting messy with it. Start to play with it a little bit, and I bet you'll answer a lot of the questions you had as a result. So Kelly, did you have anything to close us with before we drop?
Just that, again, more information is going to come out about breakout features, the breakout feature. So just know that, you know, documentation on the how-tos will be more extensive once that it starts hitting all of the tenants. So please expect that information to come. Also, we have more meeting features that we're going to be talking about in part 2 next week. So next Friday, again, 12 to 12:30 Eastern, we're going to be actually covering all of the new meeting features that have hit or are hitting here very shortly. So please, it's not one to miss. We're covering all the good stuff from Ignite. So stay tuned with us on Try This at Work. And if you can't make it, remember that it will be posted on demand. So thanks so much, everyone. We appreciate it. And we will hopefully talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.